There we have it. There's our 30-second countdown. Excuse me while I put some stuff on the shelf. But what's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another episode of Free Thinkers. You know, we've talked about this before and have not followed up, but we should count how many episodes we have. Like, I'd be curious to know, like, what number we're on.
Can we even do that now?
I mean, we can. Because they're on YouTube, so like we can at least count those, right? But like, I don't know how well we would be able to like have an accurate actual number.
Because even before
YouTube,
if we went to the Free Thinkers page and just went to videos, then we could probably count it up.
True. Yeah.
So so you know, I think I did count the ones up like on High IQ, and I think we were like at 114.
No way.
And we haven't been doing that half as long as Free Thinkers. So Free Thinkers, we got to be 200-300 episodes in. Even.
Oh, easy. I mean, if you think about just 1 year, I mean, every Tuesday up until like, you know, really the last year or two, we didn't really take many Tuesdays off. So it was like,
right.
We would go months where there was like no Tuesdays being missed. So we have to be at a couple hundred easily since 2020.
Episodes, yeah, if we a full 4 years in just on social media wise, so that has to be, got to be over 200.
Yeah, but then all together,
that's like, not even including the live ones.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, even if we started counting all of the Free Thinkers that we've done, from in person to virtual, like we're up there. Like,
yeah,
we're up there. And I wondered, I'm like, what number? I wonder what number conversation this is tonight. You know, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll have to put it together and figure out how many conversations we've actually had.
Hire somebody to put it together.
I'll have one of my kids count them up. Mm-hmm. But that's what's up, y'all. So it's Tuesday. It is Free Thinker Night. We were obviously watching the debate last week, and just took a little time off last week.
You know what? I almost wanted to go on live. I wanted to go on live like the next day. I'm like, we need to do a Wednesday Free Thinker.
A follow up, and I thought about that too, but I was so disappointed. I was like,
what were you disappointed in?
I'm just disappointed that this is America. Like this is what we're doing right now, and this is who we're doing it with and for, and that everybody is watching us. Like that's what disappointed me so much about watching the debate. I watched the debate honestly with no other expectation than just seeing them probably fight on stage, right? But it wasn't even that. It was just bad. It was just bad on both parts. Like it was just terrible. So to see people be like, "Oh, Kamala slayed him," I'm like, "No, she didn't." Or to be like, "Oh, he got her." No, he didn't. Like it was so bad, and it was like toddlers on stage just calling each other liar, 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 liar. And I'm like, this is what the international community is watching. This is what they're seeing about what's happening in America. And that's the part that is the most disappointing. So I'm glad we didn't actually commentate that live last week, because I would have had, I don't think, anything good to say at all about either of them.
I definitely, without question, I thought Kamala won huge.
Well, I would say she. I don't even think you can say she won. Let alone
I think she was losing the first 15 minutes.
I don't think anybody won. I think if there's a way for both of them to lose, they both lost. Like it was just bad. It was bad. She didn't talk about anything, and the shit that she did talk about was, come to find out, not truth. Like shit, she lied on stage. So it's like she didn't do very well. Like I don't think she did a great job. I don't think she did a good job. And I don't think that he did a good job. And both of them have this fucking job, and neither of them are new at this. So they both did terribly, considering they're both more than prepped to be able to pull off a debate. And it was still a shit show, in my opinion. It was embarrassing. But you thought she did really, really well.
I don't
What
think that's
about
the
that? What
Oh
about
yes.
what did you feel like was really good? What part do you think was like where did she have the upper hand?
So let me give you my overall philosophy on how I grade a debate. I've learned a long time ago, facts don't mean a whole lot. You laying out your plan, that doesn't mean a whole lot.
It doesn't this debate. Both of them.
No, it doesn't. Trust me, it doesn't. It does not. Get out of your own head, Nikki. And the way that you would judge a debate, you have to realize the average watcher, the average American, they do not care about facts. They want to know who looks the most presidential and who seems like they're most presentable to represent our country. Like you smack, many of you already say that the president doesn't control anything.
They don't, but for them to control y'all into thinking that whoever looks better whoever looks better or looks like they can play the role
but that's
better.
The truth. That's the truth.
Y'all ruining the country. We should
but that's
want
the
somebody
truth,
up there
though.
telling the truth. We should want somebody up there who's capable of doing the job.
But if you
Nikki, want somebody up there who's like, no way, Jose.
I need you to get out of your idealistic brain for a second.
No.
What should be and what is two different things. Get out of the what should be business because that's
that is a true statement. But if that's the metric at which we are grading our presidential candidates, we are. Well, I mean, I already know we're a big.
That's how we've always measured the presidential candidates. That's not. That's nothing new.
I don't.
Oh yes, absolutely.
True.
Absolutely.
People vote on who looked like a better candidate or who played the role of a better candidate. People voted based on their political ideations, their philosophical ideations, their belief systems, who seemed educated, who sounded educated.
You're answering my question right now. You just said it yourself. People will vote. Number one, their whole political ideology has nothing to do with that individual. The party has already picked that person to represent that ideology. So if you are part of a party, then you're already siding with that party regardless of who the person is. Republicans more so than Democrats.
Also dangerous, but yes.
Of course, all of this is dangerous, but it's always been that popularity contest. So the whole thing is you have the 48% that's on one side who's going to vote that side no matter what. And you have the 48% on the other side. And if you're talking about the left side, many of them will vote, but not all of them. And then you have the 4% independents who are undecided, and many of them may not vote even then. So it's not about how much information and how smart you are. None of those things matter. It's how presidential do you look? Who do you want to represent me to the rest of the world? And that's what people
horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah,
that's absolutely horrible. That would
if
not
you go into a debate thinking it's
so.
Go ahead. If you go into a debate thinking it's anything other than that, as a candidate, if you think if I just give the American people the truth, then they're gonna understand. No, they're not. You will lose. That's part of politics. You got to know what the game is so you know how to properly play the game.
I just feel like a debate versus a presidential debate have two different. They're not the same. Like
it's even more so than other debates.
A presidential debate, especially for those that believe in the power in which these presidential debates are. The presidential debate should be based on nothing but merit and plan and action and what you're going to do or what you can do or what you're educated enough to be able to speak on, as opposed to who looks like they can play the role better for the country. Like that is now I'm even more fucking depressed than I was after watching.
I don't know how you don't know that though, Nikki.
I mean, it's just disappointed all together, but
I'm disappointed at you that you don't already see that already.
Nikki knows. Nikki just doesn't want to accept it.
I'm just like, this is just.
I don't think so. I don't know. I've definitely been guilty of seeing people through my eyes as opposed to who they show me to be. But this is different. Like a presidential debate, I looked at those two as, Bush, Trump has been a president. He should have done better. Like he's clearly been prepared for this, right? This is not his first go round. Kamala should have definitely done fucking better. She still has the job. Like she's definitely far more seasoned than he is. And they both just looked like absolute fucking clowns. Absolute clowns. Neither of them looks to play the part.
I don't think she came off. I don't think she came off looking like a clown.
Neither of them looks to represent very well. But
I don't think she came off looking like a clown. She came out shaky at first, and then she kept going more at him than reaffirming her own base, which I thought was a mistake. So the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, yeah, she's losing. She's misguided in the way that she's trying to approach this. Because you telling people how much Trump is a liar and that's not going, the people who rock with him is not going to change their mind. So you wasting your time trying to go down that road. I thought she was making a mistake with that. But he ultimately, she baited him into going down a hole that, and then I saw him get frazzled. I saw him kind of lose himself and not know which, and usually he stays in control with his lies. And he started getting all over the place. I'm like, you rattled, dude. She actually had him rattled for a while. I'm like, ooh. And then that's when she kind of just step back and start laughing because she was like, I got him.
No, because her drunk ass, her fucking drunk laugh, she couldn't keep it in anymore. Laughing.
No,
it's wild.
If you get a presidential candidate to start talking about immigrants eating the cats and dogs, you won.
Say that again.
That's the most. If you get your opponent in a presidential debate to start talking about immigrants eating cats and dogs, I don't even care if it's true. That's not something that you say in a presidential debate. You already got them off of their rocker, and all she baited him doing, she baited him by saying that your rallies are trash, and that got under his skin. Because that ego, he don't like, man, excuse me, my rallies are the best rallies in the history of about. But she knew that she knew it was gonna get under his skin, and it did. But he lost his composure way more than she did. She just had to find her way in the first few minutes. She kept her composure. And when it started going into the women's reproductive rights, when it started talking about the racism things and stuff like that, she ate him up on that. And he didn't have a real response for it. When people say it was an even, I don't know how people see that as an even debate.
I don't think it was an even. I think it was if it was an even, it was an even dump. It was an even fucking clown show. But I don't think that there was one that was stronger than the other.
She won that by a large margin.
Yeah, nah, I don't think so.
You're just going by debate. And I don't rock with either. I ain't gonna say that, but it's just like no. She actually. She won. She won that one.
She did. She won. I agree with you. She won because of her composure. Like, she is very good at keeping it. And then when she does want to show expression, she is very intentional about what expression she wants to show.
Right.
Like, I'm going to give you a little bit of sister girl and like, okay, yeah, sure. Kind of energy. And then she knows how to avoid questions better.
She did.
Like, she's really.
They asked her about the fracking, and her saying one thing one side it's time, and one of us like, okay, have you changed your stance or what's going on? Which one is the real? And she knew how to sidestep that question.
Yep, she sidestepped the question about the tariffs and like, okay, well, the tariffs were put in while I was in office. Why didn't you reverse them? I would have thought she was a wide receiver or something, or a running back. She was stiff arming. I mean, she really did a good job. And when she finally did make a stance, it was something that she actually had. Like, you'll see old clips of her talking about abortion rights. And with her being a woman, like the abortion rights thing, and then all that Roe versus Wade thing being turned over while he was in office. I mean, it really, like, that's the only policy or thing that she stands by that is a strong enough thing that women will rally behind, because they're just trying to get their, like, you know, they want their rights. They want to be able to abort babies whenever they feel, you know, whenever they feel the need to, whatever the case may be. So but beyond that,
even the way that you say that is so weighted. If they want to abort babies whenever they want to, like, people aren't just aborting babies because they want to, but it's the option to have a medical procedure. Like, whether we agree or we disagree, it, you know, it's irrelevant. But like, but this is how politics is working. It's got both y'all. I'm watching this clearly, so I'm just gonna listen to you guys talk about how great she did at this debate, and what isn't relevant, because like we're gonna be in trouble. Which either one of them, which either one that it is, we're gonna be in fucking trouble.
I think it's relevant. I think she did great in comparison to him. I don't think she did great in comparison to what I would need to vote for her, because I'm still not voting this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I still registered to vote. So, like, she still hasn't convinced me enough. Like, she provided some tax breaks for people who have kids. I don't. I'm single. I don't have children.
What does that do for me?
Get those tax breaks. I'm probably gonna owe.
Give me something else.
You know what I mean?
Give me something else.
There were two things. Yeah, so she presented that, which wasn't necessarily a policy, but something that she hopes to do, which probably, to Trump's point, probably won't get done, just like the school loans thing didn't get done, and they kind of dangled that like a carrot over our heads, and it didn't get done. And they knew they wouldn't be able to get it pushed through, and they knew they would be able to blame it on someone else for why it didn't get pushed through, but it was never going to happen in the first place. Let's be real.
Well, but now didn't some loans get forgiven though? So I know they didn't do just like blanket everybody.
If you work for the government, and or it was like a Pell Grant, which is a government grant, then they forgave your loan. So that's just money really going back to them.
So they forgave a lot less people than they initially sounded like they were going to forgive then.
Yeah, they were acting like they were going to forgive everybody, but no.
Everybody's right.
You got a steady job. You got a state job. You'll get your stuff forgiven, depending on like which faction you work in, you know, things like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it was forgiven, but it wasn't like and it was to their benefit. It wasn't just to the people's benefit.
Right.
They benefited from getting those. And I know someone who got loans forgiven. Again, they work for the government. So it's like she did well in comparison to. I don't think Trump or Kamala are debating to get each other's voters. I think they're debating to get people who are still trying to figure it out. Because whoever's voting for Trump,
is going to vote for Trump, and whoever's going to vote for her is going to vote for her. Right.
Yeah, there's nothing you can say.
Right.
But if you're on the fence, the cat thing may have been like, oh, here we go. You know.
Yeah. But even since the debate, and I'm not for either one of them, and I'm certainly not an advocate for fucking Trump. I am an advocate for those of us who are in this goddamn country, the American people. Like, I'm definitely an advocate for us trying to be able to survive and be able to maintain. But even since the debate, like, and I could be wrong because I don't watch the news every day by any means. I don't believe she's still rolled anything out yet. Like, I don't think that there's even been additional conversation since then. So to your point, Denise, those in between people who are trying to figure out like maybe which direction I may sway if I am going to vote, like, I think Trump's already rolled out a couple initiatives, right? Which again, they're still just him fucking talking. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but like he's at least put some, like, what is it? The no taxes on overtime pay. So all overtime work will no longer be taxed. There was something else that he had mentioned as well, but I'm like, she still hasn't come out with anything. Like, fucking November in a couple of weeks. Like, it's literally around the corner. We're almost October. It turns fall this weekend. Like, for those people who are voting, I think it's less than 6 weeks, 6 weeks or something before it's time to make those decisions. And I'm like, damn, the debate was a week away and I still ain't heard shit.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Say that again?
I said you don't want to do that. The earlier you roll out your plans, the longer time you give the other side to pick it apart.
To criticize, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
but we're
why
down to
in
the
often
wire at this
terms,
point. You got to start letting people know what you're
you
gonna
want to wait
do.
as late as you can. If you notice, oftentimes too, they don't pick a vice president to the last second until they have to. They don't tell you up front. They don't want people to have the time to pick apart their history, everything that they're saying and they're doing. They're they don't want them to have the time to pick it apart. So yeah, they're gonna wait as late as they can.
I just feel like this is a very interesting
And if you notice, their campaign ain't what we're running for. The campaign is don't let this crazy person get back in office again. That's their thrust.
Right. Because they're really, what did they keep saying? They said, you're going to vote. What did they say? They said, vote for country or vote for party or something. Like, I don't know. So they keep using that. They keep saying that over and over and over and over and over. You know, you can either vote for the country, you can vote for your party. Which is trying to, of course, dissuade people from voting for Trump and voting for Kamala. Don't vote for, who you like, vote for who's going to save the country. And I'm like, baby, she ain't going to save us. She's not going to fucking save us. And he probably ain't either. That's what I'm saying. We are in double trouble with either one of them. And then to your statement, like, I just feel like presidential debates before this, like, you did see your vice president candidate and your presidential candidate like arm in arm and like on a tour together. And like, remember when there was multiple Republican and multiple Democrat candidates? Like, we're only going to see these two. We're not going to see anybody else. Like, there's nobody else. We're not going to see anybody else. We're not going to see the VPs go.
Because
like, it's like, here, y'all notice all y'all got is these two. So you're going to fucking choose one of these two. Like, it just seems like a very different cycle. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I've seen more out of these debates.
The sitting presidents on the party of the sitting president side, they don't do the party nominees. It automatically goes to the president. So that's why Biden did his first debate, and then they just said, no, this is not going to work. And they did not have enough time to go down. If they would have tried to have 10 different people look to fill in the spot, then they would have lost out, because you don't have enough time for that. And then it would be too much division amongst the party. So they just said immediately, all right, Biden can't go, Kamala, we are putting you in right now. And that wasn't it feel like it was only a few weeks ago. They didn't have time to do that. After the first debate already, they realized Biden couldn't do it. So now we got to throw Kamala in here. We can't have multiple people auditioning for the role.
Yeah.
I think that was strategy too, to push.
And a strategy on the Republicans' part too. The Republicans they just have to throw Trump in the forefront, because they know if Trump is going to take such a large percentage of the party votes away that they'll end up losing. Because you got the Republicans that's going to vote, and you got the Trumpsters that's going to vote. Now, if you have a different Republican candidate, which they want to have, they wish they could. They don't want to have the guy who told people to storm the presidency, and then the sitting vice president had to had to fucking hide, take what cover. They call disclaim, like, I can't even rock with. Like, they don't want that, but they know if we don't put Trump in, Trump is going to get the vote, all of the votes of our party, or most of them. If he leaves, then it's going to be a divided ballot, which we'll lose. That go back and look at Theodore Roosevelt with the Bull Moose Party. Roosevelt said he wouldn't run again. He changed his mind, decided to run. They said, nope, we already got this person. So Roosevelt said, we're going to introduce he started his own Bull Moose Party. And he ended up taking such a large percentage of the party's vote, then they ultimately lost altogether. They don't want to do that again.
It'll be an interesting 4 years, no matter who the fuck, whichever one of them is going to be. It'll be an interesting 4 years regardless.
I feel like we've seen it both ways. Like, we've seen it with him, we've seen it with her. We know that. Yeah,
but I think that's just a precursor. I think it's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna get worse.
We haven't seen it with her though. We haven't seen it with her.
Yeah, we have.
We've seen it. She's been a politician.
What have we saw?
I feel like
she hasn't been a president
with Biden, and Biden being like,
it's not fair.
He's had to be like this for some time. He's been this way for some time.
Did y'all?
No, but that's not fair to criticize the vice president for the actions of the president.
I mean, that's why people voted
the
for
vice
Biden.
president has no power.
The people voted for Biden because they thought they were going to be getting the sauce that they got with Obama. Other than that, why were people voting for Biden? What policies were they picking? They were just like, oh, he was there during Obama. I guess it's going to be good. Let's vote for him. Like that.
Well, that's people being stupid.
Fact,
all I'm saying is the vice president carries no power. They have no authority to do. Only thing they do is they stay up to speed in case the president dies, so that they can fill in immediately. That's their only real. That's the only real job.
I thought that I had read.
Now you might give people extra power.
Well, I thought I read something recently that said something like the vice president actually does have power or something over Congress or Senate or something about that. I thought I read.
They Speaker of the House. If there's they can control. I think it's
maybe it is the Speaker of the House. Maybe it was Speaker of the House. It was something.
But even then, you're not controlling anything. I think you have the ability to be. If it's 50-50, you could be a swing vote. That's about it.
Neither of them have the power that I think we thought that they were given by having those jobs. When
we got confused because back in the Bush era, Dick Cheney took the office of vice president and made it something that it was never designed to be. Dick Cheney used that position way more power. He used that. He pushed his influence in that position that has never been pushed like before, and it wasn't designed for that.
Jesus. We don't see. We don't see.
Okay, so do we? so let me ask Nikki and Denise, the two. I was gonna say females to get on y'all nerve, but I ain't gonna say it. I got a thing for trolling. I can't help it. I just got this trolling thing.
You better say woman, damn it. Female. Say woman, don't say female.
So if I call myself a male, then I can't call y'all female then?
A male is not used generally derogatorily. Yeah, no, okay. I don't like female. I don't mind female in terms of I don't mind female in terms of classification of sex, right? Male and female. But I like to call males that are men, and I like for women who are women to be called women, because usually female, if you're not fucking military or medical, female is usually a derogatory, easy way to say bitch without saying bitch. So
what?
That's
never come across my mind.
These females. Anytime someone said female, it was because they didn't want to say bitch. So females was always as a female dog. It was always as a derogatory statement, because if you can call her a female, why can't you call her a fucking woman then? If you can't fix your mouth to say woman, that's the problem. The fact that you won't call a female a woman, and there's some men who will not call women women. They just won't fucking say woman. They can't say the word woman. They got to call them a female. Female. So that's my pet peeve. That's my pet peeve.
Word for it.
That's my pet peeve. And I know there's a lot of women who are like, this is crazy. But I'm just like, I'm sorry. That's what it is. But so ask these women, what question do you want to ask us?
As the opposite gender.
Mm-hmm.
How do y'all feel about the representation of potentially having a woman president? Like, would that mean something to you? Like, for the sake of representation, daughters, nieces, like we've had 98% white men hold that office, one black person. Like, representation makes a difference, even if, and that's why I said, me personally, this is probably the last time I'll vote for in a two-party system, because I would like to see her become president for the purpose of representation. It's not that I believe that, like I said, I believe the presidency carries very little weight, and the 1% and the billionaire business owners are the one who actually control everything. So it's not as if I'm picking someone that's going to dictate the direction of our country, but it's someone who we're picking to be the representative of the country. Same way that the Pope really doesn't control the church, the Vatican. They got a whole system that controls that, and they pick a person to be a representative of that. I just think representation counts. I was wondering what y'all thought about that.
Well, for me, like of course I think about oh man, it sure would be cool to have she's calling herself a woman of color now, a woman of color as the president.
Will she even identify as that? I mean, what is she? I don't know what she's identifying as anymore. I don't know what she chooses.
So we can, and I feel the same way. If we can get through that on the technicality, then I'm like, all right, fine. It can check all boxes. There you go. The Bruno Mars, just check all the boxes. Go ahead.
Yeah, she flip flops, but like I do think about what that would be like, how that representation would be, things like that. The same thing with Obama. Like I felt like when Obama was president, as a Black person, I felt like collectively we felt so empowered. I felt like the music was better in that era. I mean, we got some classic albums during that time period. We got Kendrick Lamar. We got J. Cole. We had Drake. We had Meek. We had Big Sean. We had Wale. I mean, Watch the Throne came out during that time. My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy. I mean, I felt like we were just so empowered.
That's a good observation.
It was like insane. And and so it was like, the music reflects like what's going on in the time. So I just felt like, and then I felt like we started putting our suits on. Our Black men were wearing suits and we were dressing up nicer. And it was just like it was like a mind shift change, if you will, just by seeing him be there. And I felt like the way he carried himself so well, there was a respect given to Black people even more. I felt like than we had before. Now, on the other hand, I do think there was more violence against Black people for the same reason. So with that being said, my concern with Kamala being president is there's going to be an uprise in violence, or at least it's going to be an uprise in violence against women that's shown in the media. It may not have changed. It may be the same amount that it had always been, but we're going to keep seeing that over and over and over again. And I'm like, not really in the mood for that shit. But in terms of like the appearance of what it will look like and how it may shift people's mindsets and how they view women, it could be great. My only issue is I feel like a lot of this was something that they've been trying to do. Like they were trying to do this with Hillary, but it didn't work because she's not likable, plain and simple.
Right.
And so I feel like even some of the push, like the Hollywood pushes when it comes to women and like, we need more women this and we need more women that, was all just a big rollout for when they finally did have a woman president.
That would be where you would say female, but it's okay. You can call her that.
But I think all of this has been a slow rollout, a soft launch, if you will, that they've been trying for whatever reason. I don't know what the priority is. I mean, I do have thoughts on that. I think it would be nice for women, but I also do think a bit of some of the hyper feminism push is something weird going on between the genders, but that's a whole other story in itself. But that's my overall thoughts about that.
But I think it's I don't want anybody, and I'm jumping in right in front of you, Nick, but I just didn't want anybody like Sarah Palin. She's not a good representative. That's not the first person that you wanted to be the vice president, or even a president for that matter.
But there's people that like her, so she was absolutely somebody that people identify with. If you identify with that fucking Looney Tune,
But there's some of that, like Herman Cain. I didn't want him to be the first Black, but I don't. It's not everybody, or Ben Carson. Like we want the right person to be the first representative.
Period. That part.
And I think Kamala, she's not Michelle Obama, but that's still good representation.
No, I don't.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
I'm not just a take one and it'll work type of person at fucking all. Absolutely not. And in the very beginning, I was like, damn, I would actually love to have a Black woman as a president. That would be some dope ass shit. Let's get one of the most pissed on people in this fucking society up here running this bitch to like flip this narrative, right? And so like I was really excited about the possibility of having especially a Black woman as a president. And then especially because it would just fucking singe the hairs on the people in this country that need to have their asses chapped, right? Like, I was so happy about this possibility. And I don't even fucking vote, right? I don't even actually believe in this whole system. But just this idea that we could maybe have this black woman up here as a president. And then, of course, that, that smoke and mirrors completely blew the fuck away, after like the thought of this and then the realization that that's not who she is. So her being a woman for me doesn't mean anything, because for me as a woman, she does not come across to me as a woman's woman. She doesn't come across to me, and there's no disrespect to anybody, but she doesn't come across to me as a woman of color's woman. She doesn't come across to me as a black woman's woman. She doesn't come across to me as a fucking mother. She doesn't come across to me as a wife. She doesn't come across to me as a friend. She come across to me as a fucking leech. Like, that's literally what she comes across to me as. So I don't respect her as any of the important women levels for me as a woman that I think are where her impact could be impactful. And so for me, the representation, like, if this is what our first woman president is going to be like, there's some bullshit. We could have just had Hillary. Fuck it. Let's just go ahead and have her too. Right. So like,
Did you
just... Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did. I did. But I also don't know enough about politics and politicians to know, like, if there's even another woman. I mean, of course we say Michelle Obama, but like outside of her, like, I don't know any other powerful, impactful, ethical.
Oh, whatchamacallit would have been good. The one who
Elizabeth Warren.
Yes, thank you. She would have been good. I would have voted for her.
I remember that. Well, she was going to try to run with Hillary, wasn't she?
And she was so much more qualified than, like, she made. And see, that's
Nikki, how you know this is all Nikki, bullshit.
But I know, Nikki, and that's why I'm like, I don't know why you sitting up here judging winners and losers. She made so much more sense than Biden and everybody else who was on, and it didn't matter because people are not interested in how much sense you make.
Bernie Sanders, same thing. I would have
voted for Bernie too.
Y'all would see me at the motherfucking sticker on my shirt if Bernie was up there.
Bernie a little extreme though.
For fake, just to say I voted for Bernie, but
but Bernie, he was extreme though.
That's just it. That's how you know
he's a real socialist. I ain't that far a socialist, but I still would vote
that they're not interested in solutions. Because if they really were interested in solutions, they put people like Bernie in, who have been a part of politics when there was a time, I feel like, voting fucking mattered. Your power to cast a vote actually was something that was what would you call a sacred process. Like there was a time where voting, I think, mattered, right? And if they wanted people to fix things, then they would have put people like Bernie in there. But they don't want to fix things. They have to keep it broken. It's like the pharmaceutical industry. We're not worth anything if we're well. We're not worth shit if we're good citizens and we're in good place in this country. Like, they need us to be broken and debt and sick and fucking hating each other and killing each other. Like, they need that from us.
I saw somebody put that up there. They was like, okay, so you mean to tell me this the multi-billion-dollar cancer industry is actually gonna try to cure cancer so that they can go out of business? It's like, come on, think about it.
Exactly. So it's not about the American people. It's not about doing better for us. It's not about, collectively, what can they do for us? Representation. That shit don't matter to me because you don't represent me. You literally are not representing me. I don't care that you have a vagina and so do I. We don't have anything in common. We don't. And she doesn't have much in common, I don't think, with a lot of regular ass women. You know what I'm saying? Like, her problems are not our problems. Her issues are not our issues. Like, doesn't mean that there aren't other women who were raised by a single mom and have things that are, in common with, but representation, I am not going to get hung up on that emotionally. No, not at all. Not her. But I would love to have, I would love for us to have had a woman president, though, who could have actually done something with the country, to be able to actually change some policies with our interest in mind. That would be dope as fuck, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. And even if it did, I don't think they'll give her the power that we would want her to have to actually do things for us the way that, would benefit us maybe later on down the line. Supreme Court judges and and so on and so forth. So no, I don't think representation in this particular matter for me is relevant. I wish it was. I would love for it to be, but it's not, unfortunately.
Not enough to get me to vote. Because
Yeah.
then that's all you got to do. You're just like, okay, next year let's get somebody racially ambiguous and call them everything, and like they're doing now. You know, okay, she's a
check
woman,
all the boxes.
She's Southeast Asian, but she's also black. Call her woman of color. All right, bet. You know, like, it's like all these little things, these little check marks, or like even when they were picking the vice president, they're like, okay, he's all about gay rights. He was a veteran. Like, it's like all these things. Like, look at how I am checking these.
It's like boutique.
Yeah, they do that.
It's boutique. Yeah. Like,
because they know how. But again, they know how important representation is.
Yeah.
They know we want to check as many boxes as possible because representation is important. Okay, she's not black, but she ain't white.
And representation.
She is a woman. She is a woman of color. That could get, you know, and they want to get everybody. That's with the whole alphabet thing. We're going to use all the alphabet letters because we want to get everybody included in here. LGBTQIA plus. Even if you ain't got a letter, you still just you part of the plus.
You got the S24 plus on it.
I mean, again, it's politics. Inclusion. We want to include everybody. So I get it. I ain't mad at it. But not the black people. Don't pull no hot sauce out
include everybody but y'all. Make sure everybody included.
If I'm looking at it, if I'm looking from a political eye, then I get it. That's all. And you have to think about that. We make up 12-13% of the population. They can't cater everything to us.
Really actually believe that number though? Don't you think it's actually higher than that? Do you I feel like even just the intention of underreporting that is enough.
No. I think it is accurate. So this is what they do. They lie as far as since they don't use Hispanic is not a race. So they kind of mask the numbers because most Hispanics will identify as white. I did the census before. So you gotta.
Oh yeah, I remember
it's
that.
Black, white, Island Pacifica, this and this and that. You can do whatever you want, but then you classify as Hispanic or non-Hispanic.
Right.
But it's Hispanic, white, Hispanic, black, and nobody wants to be classified as black. That's the main thing. They don't want to do that now. And also, this is the other thing I say. We feel that way because the same way that Trump got in office, we start looking at America as New York, Chicago, Houston, LA, Philly, and Miami. Like, we look at we put so much focus on the metropolitan cities. Whole world out there. All of these places got a state full of land and homeowners and business owners that are highly white. And when you go out in those areas in the country, it's white out there. So yeah, and it's a lot. If it was only about San Antonio, Houston, Austin, and Dallas, then Texas would be a blue state. But Texas is not a blue state because there's a whole bunch of other cities that's not cities of color or city that have large amounts of color in there. Them places, you go out in West Texas and East Texas and all them other those are white cities.
They're white, and at this point now, white and Spanish cities. And those two oftentimes are going to vote hand in hand.
Right, because Spanish is a highly Catholic population, and Catholics go Republican because of the abortion. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. They always are going to fall on the red side. You know what I'm saying? But I feel, like I said, I feel like even the underreporting of, you know, the percentage of Black people, you know, in the United States, I just feel like, you know, if they came out and they said, you know, 25% or, you know, 30 or 40%, like there's power in those numbers. There's power in even the intention behind the numbers.
Do you really see 25-30% Black people when you go around the city? Now,
Denise might, maybe. Our city's not is a very unfair city to use that. Now we talk about Dallas or Houston, that's another story. Yeah, we talk about Chicago, that's another story. We talk about, you know, a lot of other places, that's another story.
But you're talking about 3 cities though.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, we're talking about just some of the biggest ones we can think of. Austin is not
that's
that.
still just, but even still, that's just in pockets because of redlining. Redlining forced people of color into certain neighborhoods. So when you go to certain neighborhoods in Houston or Chicago, you'll see this high percentage of black people.
Of course.
It ain't because the whole city is that high percentage, it's because they were forced into these specific neighborhoods. When you go to the outskirts and you go to other places, yeah, you get back to the 85-90% white.
I don't know. Texas, I think, is just a hard state to maybe quantify in because it's so fucking big. But I think of all the southern states that I go to and the cities that I go to, and you know, even I think about just going to New Orleans. I think about going to some of the places I've been to in Louisiana, Alexandria and Lake Charles, and just all the, you know, again, smaller places. But I just feel like 12%, even when they say there's only 6% black population in Austin, I'm like, I know there ain't a whole lot of black folks left here anymore, but 6% out of 2 million, like, I don't know.
I could believe that. Because I feel like central Louisiana is very different from the rest of Louisiana. Central Louisiana to southern Louisiana is more cultured and just more black. But everything else, it gets a little tricky.
Right.
Like southern to central black. And then Austin, with that being said, I went to school in like southern Louisiana because it's like 45 minutes outside of New Orleans, hour and a half, 45 minutes outside New Orleans. And obviously I went to HBCU, but then also there was LSU there too. So Baton Rouge was kind of like,
oh yes,
it was a toss up. It's really hard because it's a college town and it's a state college. So it's tricky when you have like college towns that have a state college there. But all that to say, when I came to Austin, I had the biggest culture shock because I literally would be like looking for black people like every day. I would be like looking, and if I saw a black person, I would be like, and I would literally ask them. I would literally walk up to them and be like, where do we be at? I'm like, where do we hang out?
I still do that all the time. I do that all the time. Like, I've been here 20-some years. I'm like, so where the spots
They've left. They've left. They've left to Houston. They've left for Dallas. They've left. Like, so when you think about Austin will be 6%, and you think about the whole entire rest of everybody else, 12%, it's like, I don't know if that's right. And I don't know if it makes any difference whatsoever. I wonder if the intentionality behind underreporting is anything.
It definitely make a difference. And then you got to go back to how much are black. How much are black people reporting when the census comes around?
Right, because we don't want nobody coming. I remember somebody came to the house.
We ain't trying to have people come to our door. We ain't answering. We don't know these people. And there's a lot of people who might not. If you don't get somebody like me, then some people don't like going into those neighborhoods to do the census.
Right. True.
Somebody came to our door to do the census when I was living at another spot. And I am one of those black people that I need to heal. So any government, anything, it just sets me off.
Right.
Like, why are you here? Why do you need to know what color I am? Why do you know my age? Do you even really know this person like that? How do you even know this person is working for the census or not? They can just be walking up on you and doing that. I'm a hyper paranoid black woman. It just is what it is. And I remember like my roommate felt free to give up. They said, don't tell him nothing about me. Whatever you do, like, and then I overheard him telling him, I'm like, bro, didn't I just tell you, do not tell anybody anything about me living in this space? Like, then you have to consider too, you know what I'm saying? Some of us be maybe not supposed to be places we are.
Straight up.
Not supposed to be living
got warrants, got other stuff like that. Like, I don't need you to know that information.
I don't know what you're doing with data collection. No.
Right.
And then census would not go away. The last time they did census, we had some lady come to our house like 5 or 6 fucking times. Like, she would leave business cards. They would leave census packs. And I'm like, lady, you're not finna get shit returned out of this address right here. But it was wild how, like, I don't know how much they get paid to get the information that they're getting, but they must get paid pretty well per fucking household because
you get paid per household. You get paid by Yeah, but no, I got paid good though. I ain't gonna lie about that.
Yeah, I bet that bitch kept coming back, and I just kept ducking and dodging. I'm like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not doing this. Like, I'm absolutely not doing any of these things. And I love that people refuse to do stuff like that. But then on the other hand, it's like, how do we get an accurate number? Which we're not going to get an accurate number. Everything's going to be underreported always. But I'm the whole 12% number just makes me wonder.
Yeah, because then it's also like, do they know where all the Black people are? Like, who's gonna stop them from dropping another bomb or contaminating the water or what?
Straight up.
Like, it's just so many reasons why I don't even want to know where I'm at. Like, it's just no.
Straight up.
So I think a lot of it is we don't report, and I think some of it, on top of us not reporting, is just like, if you knew what your numbers were and what your numbers could truly do, you really would like galvanize a bunch of people to like really do some things if you really know what your strengths were. So some of it's that. It's definitely a mixed bag of things.
That's kind of my thought process on that. Keep telling people that they're a little tiny old ass sliver of the pie, and you're gonna feel like a little tiny ass sliver. But if we actually have this motherfucker, hold on, wait a minute. There's a little more, like you said, bargaining power involved, but there's a larger mass of people, which, I'm all about. Stand up and flip the table. But I don't know. You said the 12% number, and that just made me think. And sorry, I took it totally off topic.
But on topic.
No, you fine. Let me ask this. We had a pick a post. Maybe I could pull this up. I thought this one was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember this one. I think Nikki posted this. It doesn't go unnoticed that Shannon Sharpe, even after a Hall of Fame NFL career, a great body for his age, children, a successful broadcasting career, still has to prove to men that he's manly. Patriarchy makes men do things for men for approval so often it's innately homoerotic. This person went all the way off the rails.
Yeah, y'all didn't like that. The men did not like that.
It's not well, okay, before me and Nikki jump in, Denise, what do you think?
Like we be saying, these dudes that cheat on every fucking woman that they're with and just like literally dog out every woman over and over and over, like maybe they're gay. So, just this obsession with having to prove manhood, the obsession with having to prove like, my dick is straight, because that was a lot of what was being said about Shannon. There was some pictures that were posted about him getting out of an SUV. I don't know, a month or two ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's got like a man purse on and he's looking real extra fucking feminine in these pictures. I was like, oh, wait a minute, Shannon. I think Shannon Sharpe is a beautiful fucking man. And so when I saw these pictures, I was like, damn, not Shannon too. So when I read that, I absolutely agreed with the sentiment that was said in the caption that you read. So I was not surprised to see so many men disagree with what was said in there. But I also,
it's wrong. It's just wrong.
Why do you say that? What part about it is wrong? Because you can break it down so many different ways, and it all boils back down to him having to prove.
I'm telling you, the main part of it is wrong.
He had to prove his masculinity to men. He didn't have to prove his masculinity to women. He had to prove that shit to men.
No.
Yes.
No, it's not.
I have thoughts.
So I'm gonna tell you why y'all wrong.
I have thoughts.
Okay.
For one, it's like I feel like even us assuming that he intentionally did this, I think that's wrong. Because if he's saying this was not intentional, then I feel like now we're putting we're putting our own narrative on it and saying this must be why he did this thing that he's saying that he did not do.
Well, but Denise, at first he said he was hacked, and then he said it was intentional. He wasn't hacked. So like initially, yes, it was supposedly hacked, right? So he had to defend himself.
Maybe it was
then he said he was not
get ahead of it. They try to get ahead of it and be like,
Maybe
oh, he's hacked. You know, that's the
right,
thing.
right,
Any celebrity drops anything that they're not
right,
supposed to drop, you know, they
right,
were hacked. That's
right.
you
Of
know.
course, of
And then he
course.
probably just came out. Now, I was listening to Joe Budden, so I heard some of it. But they were saying that you could hear another phone going off in the
People were
background.
trying to call him to let him know he was on live.
Right. So that's what makes me feel like I don't think it was necessarily intentional. Now,
Right.
on the other hand, are people constantly calling Shannon Sharpe gay? Yes. People constantly questioning his sexuality
Sexuality,
all the time. Do I think it's
masculinity.
always just men? No. Do I think it's a little bit of everybody? Yes. Do I think that maybe there are times where I feel like if we take Shannon Sharpe out of it and we just talk about it for what it is, are there lots of men that feel like they have to prove that they're men through having sex with women? Yes. Because they are being called gay or soft or whatever, and being with a woman is the only way to prove that you are not gay, because people make gay seem like it's so bad. If people didn't make gay seem like it was so bad, people wouldn't mind people thinking they were gay, probably.
So back to the post. Patriarchy. Patriarchy said you can't be gay. No, absolutely not. I mean, you can. They all are. It all came from gayness, right? But you can't be that, you know. You certainly can't be that in the NFL. You certainly can't be that if you've been in locker rooms for 30 years naked with other men. Oh, good God, no. A fucking sword contest? You can't have any of that attached to this image that is Shannon Sharpe. Like, so I don't even think that, like, I think that the word patriarchy and homoerotic in the same sentence just fucking, I think, just like shocked the fuck out of some of the men who read this, because I really don't even know how much it was digging at men per se, as look at what the fuck patriarchy has done to y'all too. Look what it's got y'all doing too. It's got him having to prove that he can have sex with other women, as though like men can't have sex with women and still be gay. But like, it's not, for whatever reason, he felt the need to have to prove one way or another, in some form or fashion, that, hey, y'all, I'm not gay. I really do have sex with women, you know? And it's like, really, actually, women, we don't care, you know? I think it's the fans of him that had the issue with the possibility that somebody that they looked up to so much and rode so hard for, you know, during a career, could come out that SUV looking as light on his toes as he possibly could have. But he's having sex with women now, so all right, it's all good now. He's back to.
I don't think so. I don't think Shannon Sharpe fans care about stuff like that. I think it's the people who might be jealous of his success. But I don't think like people who are Shannon Sharpe fans care if he's gay or not. I just don't think, like, he's been this way. He's been very expressive. He's always talked with a lisp. He wears his tight pants. Like, he's from a certain era. He's trying to do the clean cut thing. Like, I feel like anybody who's ever been a fan of Shannon Sharpe knows that's his thing. I think these are haters. I really think anybody who's questioning his sexuality they're just a hater, because he's really big right now.
But think about how much that conversation, though. But think about how much that particular conversation in his world, in the world in which they live, you know, has also possibly been prevalent. You know, how much has he heard people talking about him behind his back, or how much has he heard of, you know, people in the industry speaking on it? Like, it might not be anything that's really big on our radar, because that's not the world in which we live, but who knows what the income bracket in which he falls at, what those people are saying behind his back. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care if he's gay or not. I don't care if anybody's gay or not. Like, do what you do, right? But to the point of the post, him possibly needing to prove, you know, to other men that he's not. Let me show you how manly I am. I'm going to accidentally leak or intentionally leak me having sex with a woman, and talking about take this D, put it on Instagram Live. Oops. And hey, now we've confirmed, you know, that I'm not gay anymore. So it takes a system of a power of something like patriarchy to have somebody lose their shit like that, in my opinion. But go ahead. Well, you disagree a lot.
It's so hard for me to listen to y'all be wrong for that long. Y'all so wrong. Like, extremely wrong. And I just sat there and took it. I'm like, y'all so wrong.
It's so hard for me to listen to y'all be wrong for so long.
It was painful, Q.
But I'm working on my patience. I'm just working on my patience.
Oh, no.
All right, go ahead.
So the basis, I'm not. So y'all getting caught up in the weeds. I'm gonna tell y'all why that post is wrong. When the post talks about, I'm trying to pull it up because did I go? Goodness gracious. When the post says the things that they do for other men, that is incorrect. We don't do this for men. We do it for women. Now, so when it says a successful broadcast career still has to prove to men that he's manly. Men who like women are not trying to prove anything to other men. We have to protect those things that men say because it will, I've had this conversation with you before, Nikki, it will impede our ability to get other women. If as a straight man, I get labeled as gay and I allow that narrative to run, then a large pool of women who I may be accessible to, I'm no longer accessible to them, because when it comes to a man who is gay, or even if he claimed to be bisexual, in a woman's eyes, he's gay. Even if he says he likes men and women, he's gay in a woman's eyes. And that's why it confused me. You kept saying, it don't matter to me if he gay or not. If he was a person of interest to you, then it would matter to you. And I've heard you say that before, Nikki. If you mess with a dude, no, I can't mess with you.
No, I would be interested in a man who sleeps with other men. But that doesn't mean that. But I'm not grading him by his sexuality.
Nikki, listen to me. You wouldn't be. You just said you wouldn't be interested in a man who sleeps with other men.
Mm-hmm.
What if he doesn't sleep with other men, but he's been rumored or labeled to sleep with other men? That still tarnishes his image, and it makes it hard for him to really come on to the opposite sex when they be like, oh, no, I know how you get down. And it's like, no, you don't know how I get down. But it's been told that. So a man doesn't fight that narrative because he's trying to prove something to other men. He's doing that because he needs to make sure that stench or that stain, if he really loves women, you can't have that attached to you. Otherwise, it steps into your ability to get women. We're not doing it for men. We're doing it for women. See, because let me say it on this side. On the flip side, a woman could be like, oh yeah, I had some crazy college years and I got down with girls and this and this and that. For a lot of women, that's not going to impede their ability to get men. Men will still talk to them and men will still date them even if they've had experiences with women. That doesn't go both ways.
Women on women excite y'all, I think, more than a man on a man excites women.
For some people,
yes.
No. For some men it do, and so for some men they don't like that. But men don't look at it as once you go to that side, then there's no coming back for you. A man could say he had an experience with another man 15 years ago, and then you'd be like, hey, well, if you just gay, then you just do you. I ain't got no problem with it, but I can't talk to you.
Yeah,
That's it.
I don't have a problem with it, but that's not for me. Yeah.
That's my point. But if he's not gay and you're already making that statement like, oh, hey, if you love that, do you? And he keeps screaming to the world, I don't love that. Y'all just keep saying that.
Right.
He has to prove that to it's not about proving that to other men. Real men don't care what other men think. Just like I said a long time ago. Somebody asked when this was like early out of COVID and the little shorts came in.
Oh, hoochie daddies?
Yeah, the hoochie daddies.
Oh, the hoochie daddy shorts.
The only reason men were wearing those It's because women was like, oh yeah, we like them legs, show them legs off. Oh,
Man,
y'all like it?
know.
All right, well then that's what we go.
I
Listen,
don't know
I
about
promise
this.
you.
It's a whole lot of feminine men today that didn't used to be. So I don't know
I
about all
promise
that.
you.
I
Listen
don't
to
know.
me.
There's a whole lot of dudes that
Nikki,
be doing shit for other dudes around this
Nikki,
camp.
I need you to listen to me. I need you to listen to me.
I'm just saying.
If straight men, women started saying the little hoochie daddy shorts, if women was like, ugh, no, I don't know, that look a little too, I don't know what that is. If straight women did not approve of it, straight men would not wear them.
Never approved. I'm just saying, never approved. But I know
I'm just one, not the vast majority did. Enough of them did to where they're like, oh, okay, if y'all like it, then that's what we're gonna do. Same thing. It also came to a place where women was like, oh yeah, I like the salt and pepper. That became a new thing where women start being like, oh yeah, we like the salt and pepper. If women said they didn't like the salt and pepper, we'd be dyeing our hair every single week. But if y'all like it, then okay, well then I just let this gray patch do what it do. If y'all say it's all about, and if a man be like, oh man, you getting kind of gray up there, yeah, I am, but my wife says she like it, so shoot, whatever. Right. We don't care about what men think. I'm telling you, we don't. Right. So anytime they say we're doing this for the sake of other men, that post is completely off. We don't do that.
And I 100% believe in what you're saying, and I also believe that to be true. But I also know that as a woman, my perception of how I view men in that same exact arena is also a little bit different. And I do see the peacocking action between men. No, men may not care what another man thinks. I mean, like I 100% believe what you're saying, but I also believe that how I see men and how I see men engage with men on a variety of different levels it is very much a pecking order, is very much a sword fight, is very much showing out, in front of him. Like, I've had these conversations with people before. Men don't do shit for women today. Men do shit for other men. It's weird. And I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. Like, ultimately, the woman is the goal, especially if you're a straight man, right? Like, or anything that's male versus woman. But, like,
you got the answers already. This goes back to
y'all
nature.
Show out for each other. I don't mean you, but like men show out for other men.
I don't know why y'all think we so civilized that we're not have animal instinct anymore. Like when you see two elephants and two lions and two seals and whatever you call, you think they fighting just because they want to prove which one is gonna fight? Which one is the strongest? No, the strongest one gets the girl.
Right. Well, I mean,
that's in nature. That don't change.
There are still some men who operate.
And you're going to be either stronger physically, you're going to be stronger up here, you're going to be stronger in your pockets.
A lot of men are not operating an animal kingdom mentality today.
They do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I mean, we're both right.
I'm telling you, they do.
Yes, they are.
And the ones that don't is because they can't. The ones that aren't is because they can't.
We're full of I can't men. We're full of them. We're full of betas.
Nikki, in the animal kingdom, there's plenty of beta lions too. And they don't try to challenge the alpha lion.
Right.
They just fall back and be like, well, I'm going to just get the scraps wherever I can get them. It's only a few of them that's willing to challenge for that alpha spot. Just ain't. It ain't even that complicated, I'm telling you. I don't know why y'all outthink yourself too much.
Okay, Q, I got a question for you. Do you think he intentionally did this, or do you think it was an accident?
No, I don't think. No, he didn't at all. There's not enough benefit out of that. He's on Disney networks. His businesses are doing well above what like he's skyrocketing right now. It can only hurt him more than it does help him.
I agree.
And if you ever actually followed him, see, before I was following his podcast, I was following his stuff before the Cat Williams interview and everybody started getting into it. I was watching his podcast years before that one podcast blew up. I've been watching a lot of his stuff already. And I followed him on FS1. I followed him on a lot of different things. And you have people like that. So people, it's always people with this big personality then people want to go at him. They the same way they went at him, they also go at Stephen A. Smith. They also went at Skip Bayless. They go at me. And I'm not even saying I'm not on that level, but anybody who's vocal and have strong opinions. Oh, I have people go at me all the time. I've had women on a singles show that I do try to call me gay. And I'm like, and people, it's you can't. Whenever you have outspoken, strong opinions, there's a certain level of resentment because a lot of people don't feel comfortable to be that open and outspoken. And then they looking at you like, what gives you the right to just talk with your chest and say how you feel? Like it's, and I would get that a lot of times where, and even on Free Thinker, different points in time, people want to challenge you just because they don't feel that you have the right to have that type of conviction of your opinion. So it just comes with the territory, and I know how to blow it off. And that's me on this small, minuscule level. I can only imagine somebody at his level, the stuff they have to deal with as well.
Yeah.
But it's any outspoken person that people feel don't have a right to be outspoken. Just go down the list. You can you'll find any of them, and they got that. You know, they gonna have that hate. People don't like Steve Harvey. People don't like it. Just find an outspoken person. They're gonna have something to say about him.
So you do not think he did it intentionally? Do you think he did it intentionally, Denise, or do you think it was an accident?
I think it was an accident. I feel the same way as Q. Like I watched this show with him and Ocho more than the other show because I just love their banter. And also I've seen him speak. I've watched his other show as well, and I know enough about him. Like, he was raised by his grandma. Like, anybody that was raised by their grandparents, they just have a certain energy. It's really hard to explain. And typically, like, they kind of dress differently. I can't really explain it. Like, they dress like
they was raised by their grandparents.
Like, yeah. Like, it's just like they want to be very put together. Like, your shirt's going to be tucked in. You're going to be like, more clean cut. You typically, if you lean into that. And then on top of that, like, Shannon Sharpe is a dark-skinned man. So being a dark-skinned man from his era, he's going to think he has to do the most to be like a pretty boy because, you know, women in that era, even in my era when I grew up, like, shun dark-skinned dudes, call them crispy and black, and we can't see, you know, and he's talked about his experience like that. So a lot of times, like, dark-skinned dudes do a lot to be as pretty and clean cut as they can be. Like, super clean haircut, super clean face, super shiny teeth. Like, they're just going to be like, they want to be impeccable, like, because it's kind of like a trauma response, right? And it's not to say that they just don't want to look nice, but that's the thing. So I've seen enough of Shannon Sharpe, and he's expressed enough with him and Ocho. Ocho's always trying to hook him up with someone, and he's just out here. I don't know. He's just one of those older guys that you can tell, like, he is afraid of some woman taking all his money, and, like, he's worked so hard. It's like a whole thing with him, like, being a former athlete, and former athletes just seems way too much. So he, just from what I've seen of him, he doesn't strike me as someone who would go that far. And this is, I feel like, the biggest year he's had in his career. So to do something like this in your biggest year of your career where everything's going good, like, is not a good idea. It's not a good idea. So I don't think that he would do that on purpose, but he be out in these streets. I do know he be in these streets. He
has a stylist. So number one, he don't even dress himself anymore. He has a stylist who does all of that. Number two, he has 2 replaced hips. So when he's standing a certain way, he broke both his hips. He had to get both his hips replaced. It's not like people just assuming that he's standing a certain type of way because his hips broke.
He's got the courtside photos with, like, the same little dude all the time, and, you know, so they post. And he
talked about that. That was one of his stylists.
You know, where the question is come into play with with his possible sexuality.
Who in Hollywood don't got a gay stylist somewhere around? Like, it's again, it goes Hollywood. Back to everybody do, but when it comes to a black man. And a muscular black man who, if you stand beside them, you ain't gonna look too good standing right next to him, we got to do something to kind of, you know, bring you down a peg or two. Yeah. It's the same thing. People, it's just haters. People hate it. A woman stand next to another woman, bad. Oh, you know that's fake. You know them extensions. Right. Like, just say she bad. Just say she bad.
Right.
Come on, man. Right. It's like, and let me take it a step. Let me just go a half step further. Every time, and I've heard this because I'm in certain men discussion groups, hearing a man discuss another man's sexuality, that's the most whole lame stuff that I can't be involved in that conversation. Right. What in the world do that man and his sexuality got to do with me as a man? When I hear other dudes sit there talk about, well, is he, ain't, or you know he this, I'm like, you lame. That's just the lamest. And I said that in one of my groups. Because they were talking about, man, I was like, man, if you ever hear me sitting up there discussing another man's sexuality,
right?
And he already said he ain't. So why do I need to prove that he is? I don't have that much time. I'm focused on other things. I ain't focused on women. I'm focused on women.
So to your point,
y'all the ones over here focused about this other dude.
To your point, it's them lame ass dudes, but it's a lot of lame ass dudes.
It's lame beyond. I can't have. So it reminds me, there's certain things I don't even get disgusted when I get disgusted at myself if I stay in the presence of certain things. So even back in the day, Jerry Springer was real cool when it first came out. Everybody like, oh man, it's great. After a while, it was so staged, it was so fake,
right?
It was so ridiculous,
right?
If I wouldn't be disappointed at the show. I would be disappointed at myself. I'm like, Q. You've been watching this for 3 minutes. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you as a human being in your life that you say that this is not entertaining? Why are you giving this your time?
Right.
I'd be disgusted with myself for watching it longer than 60 seconds. And I would be disgusted at myself for sitting there having a conversation with a bunch of dudes about another man's sexuality. Makes no sense to me.
As you should, but it's a lot of men.
That's beneath.
It's a lot of males who have them conversations.
Males, haters,
and I can't rock with them.
I agree.
I ain't built that way.
I agree.
I'm not built that way.
I agree. But it's a lot of them out there like that though.
It is. Okay, hey, we got like 10 minutes. So y'all want to finish something on that? I want to go to one other thing real quick because I thought this was interesting.
Go for it.
Okay. So this was, I don't know how much time we got. This is a scenario. Did you see?
I read that earlier. I saw that today.
And I just read it yesterday. I'm going to read it real quick. So it says, hi, unfortunately, I'm going to cancel your reservation for Saturday. We value our customers a great deal, but we have to think about our hard-working and dedicated employees. At first, I thought it was just an isolated incident when you failed to tip your server. I sent an apology and a gift card to your wife for the incident. Since that day, I personally oversaw the service you received, and you continued to not tip or leave less than $1. I will not subject my staff to that type of behavior. Moving forward, both you and your wife are no longer allowed at our establishment. Is he right for that?
Yeah. Or you can just make sure that, like other people do, just make sure the gratuity is already on there. You could just do that. But either way,
you could.
Either way, I mean, if you said like you're not going to tip and you're finding reasons not to tip and you're doing whatever it is, then like, yeah, don't come back. You're in, even aside from like them automatically putting gratuity on there, you're just putting a bad taste in people's mouths. It's hard to keep servers. Servers get treated, anybody in the restaurant industry, if you've ever been in a service position of any sort, people treat you like pure shit. They want to find it. It's like they almost wish that they had a slave, some people, and they want to treat you funny. And like, even like, even you working with the guys in the kitchen, like it's so much crap that you have to deal with where they won't make your stuff, but they'll be cool with this other server, so they'll make her shit first so that she can get more tips than you. I mean, the restaurant industry is horrible. Okay, now mind you, I'm talking about my time at Applebee's. It may not be that way everywhere. Applebee's in the hood, but my point is this. That's like the worst it could possibly get. Then you get these high-end restaurants, whatever, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Bye. You're messing up business. You messing up my employees. They're not happy. You're doing too much. You complain, and then I'm looking out for you, thinking that something happened, and then the whole time you just ain't tipping, and you want shit for free. Right. Seem like you just trying to get by. So, good riddance. Good job.
So while I 100% agree with you.
Hold on. This don't sound like 100% if you about to add something else.
No, because I do. Because I stand on business and I stand on fucking principle.
Can't say but, no however.
And if you are coming in as one of those privileged ass types of entities, right, I don't fucking like you. However, Jules,
it's not 100%. It's not 100%.
No, because I agree. Get your motherfucking ass up out of my establishment. That's the best for me. That's the best part about being a business owner is I can tell you get the fuck out, and you can't tell nobody on me. Who you gonna tell? You gonna try to get me fired? Like you can't tell me. So I absolutely love the ability to be able to tell people to get the fuck out. I have the right to refuse service to whoever, and if it's on a principle of you. Like not handling your tip properly with somebody who's giving you fantastic customer service, yeah, get your motherfucking ass up out of here. However, like Jules said, then you need to pay them a livable wage. If this person's ability to be able to make it is contingent upon them getting tips, then me as the employer, I need to fucking up my wages because a tip is not mandatory. A tip is an optional thing. There's a lot of countries, there's a lot of places where tipping isn't even legal. You're not allowed to tip. Like you can't tip. Tipping was racist. Like tipping has a racist history. Like so tipping is a very it's like a very gray area for a lot of people, right? But I've had fantastic service and I can't give you a $50 tip, right? And I feel like maybe my $15 tip isn't sufficient considering how fantastic your service was, right? But if your job was paying you well, you're going to always have good service because you are getting paid well, right? So, I do agree that get up out of here. You're not tipping well, right? But a tip is an option. It is not required. Maybe the employers should pay people better so that they don't have to depend upon tips exclusively to be able to pay their bills. But to your point, Denise, being in the service industry is absolutely not a place I would want to be in 2024. Customer service is absolutely pathetic. We had Papados last night, and I'm still going to call corporate tomorrow. I was too fucking busy today.
Shoot.
I'm definitely going to get a whole bunch of fucking free Papados because it was just an absolutely piss poor experience from absolute Jump Street. Customer service manager, our waitress. I was like, did we just fucking come in here on the wrong night? Like, there's 5 of us here. Do you know how much money's going to be spent at this fucking table? Like, just it was absolutely
our weekend.
Yesterday, Monday night.
That's why they're going to have the worst staff during the week.
Oh my god. Well, they're going to have a really good staff meeting before this week is over. So just the whole industry itself is not. I just don't feel the customer service element to it on either side, honestly. So tipping, I would not be working for tips because I can bust my ass. And I kind of look at it like in the profession I have now, like I bust my ass for people. And it's ironically, it's the richest houses that I clean that don't tip. Regular people like me, they always $5, $15, $10, $20, $50 every once in a blue moon. But like my rich clients, they never ever tip. So it doesn't matter how hard you go. It doesn't matter how friendly you are. It doesn't matter how many times you fucking tap dance for them while you're serving them food. Like it doesn't matter how many times you pick up their kids' shit all over the floor. If they're just those people, they're just going to be those people. So for that, yes, I would love to be the person in power to be able to tell them to get the fuck out. But their livelihood shouldn't be contingent upon you giving them money as a customer. Their livelihood needs to be contingent upon being met by the person I fucking work for. I'm bringing you money by being this good waitress, waiter, host, hostess, bartender, whatever the case may be. So,
but somebody's got to pay for that. So that means the customer is going to pay higher price.
Right. They're going to end up charging a higher price on the food. Then if you got to pay the staff a higher price, then they're going to.
I mean, we're already paying it. And that's the choice that you have to go out to eat or stay home and cook, you know? There's a luxury in some of these things.
I like to see an owner take up for his
Absolutely.
staff. Like, no, you're not going to treat my people any type of way, and you're not going to devalue them. So, I'm good with that. All right, we got 5 minutes. Well, right out here before we get out of here, 4 minutes, and we're gonna use the last minute to close out.
Ooh.
What silently disappeared without anyone ever noticing? Real R&B music. That just came to me right there.
Right.
It's crazy. Yeah. Real R&B music is
you definitely, yeah. I mean, yeah, no, when I listen to my 80s, 90s, and 2000s, like my little Pandora R&B station, man, just like jam after jam after jam after jam after jam. Every once in a while, I'll push the new R&B and hip hop hits, whatever station, and I'm like, oh, trash. Like, let me just jump off of this.
I just think it needs its own genre, because like if you listen to what now, it's not even this. It doesn't even have the same feel to it. So it's like, tough. Yeah. Parades. They haven't completely disappeared, but
COVID.
Oh, they're still popping out here.
I think that COVID got rid of a lot of those things. But you said y'all are doing a lot of parades.
People still be at the parades like that with y'all? Because even when I be looking at that stuff, I be like, yeah, it's there, but the crowd is so thinned out.
Yeah, New York don't care. They'll take it. They'll be like, we survived it. We'll survive it again. They going out.
You said we are definitely having a parade.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't feel like I see parades as much as I used to. That's for damn sure. But I feel like
malls,
I don't see a lot of things.
Have people noticed when malls just disappeared?
Oh, yes.
I think people only notice like around Christmas time and like holidays when you need to go like mass shopping and you're like, oh shit, like everything's closed. There are literally nothing but $7.99 stores at the mall.
Yep.
There's no actual department stores.
Yep.
I feel like cable. Does anybody still have cable on here?
Oh wow! Right? Oh my god!
No, I have. I have the cable app. I have a cable app, so it's not an actual cable. It's Spectrum streaming. So I have an app just like I have a Netflix app. It's a TV where I can watch live TV through the app. But yeah, actual cable, that's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything else? We can silently disappear. Somebody put a beeper. That was funny.
Right. But that's true, dude. It is like all of a sudden. When is the last time I saw a beeper? Like they just literally disappeared. We went from beepers to cell phones overnight.
Oh, you know what disappeared silently was a iPod. They just silently did. Once you started being able to save the music on your phones, then they just became obsolete overnight.
True.
And I still got like 2 or 3. I got some right here, just have the little mini things where you could play your music and stuff at, which I still need to keep them because I can't trust technology. Everything might disappear one day.
I feel like social skills, that just like disappeared. There's something called what do they call it? A dating recession, because apparently when single people are in a room together, they don't even know how to speak to each other because I assume like everybody went to online dating during the panty. So now people don't even know how to approach each other, but that's a whole conversation in itself. But I think social skills in general, they just disappeared.
the car kits, the 18s in the trunk and all that.
Oh, yes.
That just kind of faded. That was such a big thing for a while, and then it just faded away. All of a sudden, people just don't put that. It's not a big priority to put music in your car. It's like if you ever hear somebody, what they thumping, it's like, okay, why are you doing that? That don't even make sense. Unless if I turn around and I see something banging, it better be like a 1970 something slab with candy paint. That's the only way that I'm expecting to see when I turn around. Like if I don't see it, if you like in a 2000 a new car and I'm like, why would you do that? Nobody does that anymore.
Right, because the resale value, you pretty much got to do that in an old car that you have no plans on selling. Because people want the factory stuff, otherwise it loses its value when you take that stuff out. So
yeah. Did I get it all out? You got any others? Silently faded away without anybody even notice. What disappeared? What silently disappeared without anyone ever noticing?
That's pretty much it that I can think of.
Yep. I can't.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, like DVD system, like the whole sound system that people had in their homes, and like you had like the Bose that, or like the thing that was connected to the speakers, that was like all like a whole system. Like people used to have sound systems in their homes.
Right, home entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't need that.
And then even like the well, that ain't the same. Like real furniture, like the whole IKEA stuff, like furniture made out of real wood. That's the kind of disappear.
Yeah.
But I ain't mad at it because that stuff is heavy. If you got to go from place to place, that stuff is heavy. Oh, now this is something that you, I don't know if you would know or not, but right next to me, I have an MPC player, like music hardware, like workstations, Korg Trinities, Tritons, things that you would make beats on. All of that stuff is gone, and this is nothing but software now.
Yeah, some people still will like go and get those things, but they're like OGs or people who like really study it. But for the most part, yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, people don't have those machines anymore.
Yep. All right. Well, we got that out. Thank everyone for joining us and tuning in. And if you have any thoughts or anything that you can add to it, then please put it in the comment section. Always like, share, comment. Denise, do you have anything else before we get out of here?
No, that's it.
Awesome. Well, happy Tuesday, everyone. Till next week, if you have any topic ideas, let us know. We'd be more than happy to talk about it. Have a good evening.
Good evening. Bye, y'all.